every time I need to access my switch to manage it, am I going to pick up my PC, run to the switch, and connect to the console port? No. We're not going to do that. Am I going to run to the networking room and access a computer that's already connected to those devices? No, not at all. I'd prefer to sit at my desk in the comfort of my surroundings and manage my devices from there. So what does my switch need in order for me to access it from a remote location? Let's think about that for a second. Dan, any device that I want to communicate with needs something specific to make it unique. So that way there, I can find it in the network. And what is that thing we need?
I need an IP address, but I also need it so that I can really run the TCP/IP suite. So it needs to be unique, needs to be logical, it needs to be properly formed for the network that it lives on. We can't just pull any IP address out of thin air. It has to be one that works. It has to be one that shares the network portion, that agrees with its broadcast domain, and then unique. So I look at my network topology, I figure out this switch lives here, this is a working subnet in that space, and I plug that in. But here's what I'm going to do when I'm having a bad day, Raymond. I'm going to apply this to my logical interface. This is a logical interface. You don't see it on the chassis. We've looked at the chassis. There wasn't a VLAN 1 interface, but that's where you put it. You put it inside of this logical space that allows the switch to plug itself into it. It's plugging itself into the broadcast domain. But here's where I'm going to make my mistake, Raymond. I'm going to type in IP address, whatever is appropriate, 10.55.11. I'm going to press enter, and it's going to yell at me. It's going to yell at me, and I'm shell-shocked at this point. What did I forget, Raymond?
You forgot the subnet mask, Dan, one of the most important key points of specifying an IP address. We need that subnet mask, and we're going to learn about why that subnet mask is so important in a future discussion together. But you have to specify it. You can't put an IP address in without it. So this IP address is for management purposes. Make no mistake about that. Once I have this IP address assigned, and the interface is up, and we make sure it's up by issuing the no shutdown command, that's going to enable the port. But now I have the ability to telnet to this device. I have the ability to SSH into this device. What else can I do? Oh, I could ping to and from this device. I could trace route to and from this device. Notice here that everything I'm mentioning has to do with management-related tasks. It has nothing to do with the switch's ability to forward frames. Nothing like that whatsoever. So realize the importance of this IP address. It's for management purposes and management purposes only.
I want to be able to ping to and from ASW1 for management purposes, to be able to verify connectivity. I want to be able to telnet to and from ASW1 for management purposes. I might need to access ASW1 from a remote location if I don't have a layer 3 IP address configured on ASW1. I'm not going to be able to reach it over the network. PC1 is connected to ASW1. They're in the exact same network. We can see the IP address of PC1 is 10.1.1.4. So let's go ahead and ping ASW1. Alright, I'm stumped here, folks. I don't know the IP address of ASW1. I don't know the IP address. I do know the IP address of PC1, 10.1.1.4, so let's go to ASW1, and let's ping 10.1.1.4. Unrecognized host, or address, or protocol not running. What does this mean? Don't let this message stump you, folks. This message is displayed because I don't have an IP address on ASW1 right now. Show IP interface brief. This is going to give me output in relation to all of my interfaces, but it's also going to tell me which IP addresses are assigned to those interfaces. And as you can see here, we have a lot of unassigned. All of them are unassigned, meaning we don't have an IP address on any interface. So when we see this error here, what it's telling us is that there's no IP address configured on any interface, and as a result, the IP protocol is not running. Therefore, we can't ping. Now earlier, we verified that PC1 was actually connected to Fast Ethernet 0/1 on ASW1. Let's go ahead and configure an IP address on that port. Global configuration mode, interface Fast Ethernet 0/1, IP address, unrecognized command. Folks, it's important to realize that Fast Ethernet 0/1 through Fast Ethernet 0/24, as well as Gigabit 01 and 02, are all layer 2 ports by default on our switch. What does this mean? Well, it means that we can't assign an IP address to any of those ports. We actually need a layer 3 interface in order to assign an IP address to this switch. Now earlier, we actually need a layer 3 interface VLAN 1. This is a virtual interface, and this virtual layer 3 interface is going to give us the ability to assign an IP address to ASW1, so that way there we have the ability to ping to and from ASW1. We can telnet to and from ASW1. So think of it, folks, as the ability to assign a management IP address to ASW1. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Interface, VLAN 1, IP address, 10.1.1.2, 255.255.255.192. Now, I chose this particular IP address and subnet mask pairing simply because if you look at the topology, PC1, PC2, and ASW1 are all connected to R1, and that is the 10.1.1.0/26 network. So I have to make sure I have an IP address that is part of that particular network, and I have to make sure that the subnet mask is appropriate. And this would be a /26 subnet mask. But I can't type in /26 in the actual Cisco iOS. All right. PC1, PC2, and ASW1 are all connected to R1, and that is the 10.1.1.0/26 network. So I have to make sure I have an IP address that is part of that particular network, and I have to make sure that the subnet mask is appropriate. And this would be a /26 subnet mask, but I can't type in /26 in the actual Cisco iOS. All right. Show IP interface brief. Let's take a look. Adjust VLAN 1. Beautiful. We have an IP address assigned to interface VLAN 1 of 10.1.1.2. Now let's see if I can ping 10.1.1.4, the IP address of PC1. Beautiful. Success. That's what I like to see. Let's go ahead to PC1, just so we can ping 10.1.1.2 and see the output here. Successful replies from ASW1. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to close this connection, and we're going to open a new connection utilizing Telnet instead of the console port. So let's open up our new Telnet connection here now. So we'll open up a new Telnet SSH connection. Talk about SSH a little more later on when we want to provide secure connectivity utilizing encryption. But here, let's just show how we can get Telnet connected. So the IP address on ASW1 that we are going to be connecting to for management purposes is 172.31.255.254. I'm going to pick Telnet as my protocol here and port 23 for Telnet. And click OK. And you can see I have successful connectivity now to ASW1 utilizing Telnet.
I know something about IP. I know that I need an IP address. I need a subnet mask. No ways of getting around that. But I should also have knowledge of the whereabouts of a nearby router, a router in my same subnet, that when I need to send traffic out of my subnet, I punt it to them. I need to be able to remotely manage this. So Raymond's giving us the core, IP address, subnet mask, and I can telnet to and from. But Raymond, would we be able to telnet to and from or secure shell to and from if the remote workstation were in a different subnet than the IP address that we had assigned to the VLAN interface?
No, not at all. Because our switch does not know how to get off its own subnet. It might have received the request to telnet, but it has no idea how to answer that request because it does not know how to get out of its own subnet. So this default gateway is used for what? Is it used for forwarding traffic that arrives at the switch that needs to be sent to a remote location? No. Now let's make that very clear. No, this default gateway is for management purposes. Again, just like that IP address we assigned to the interface.
Setting up interface VLAN 1 with an IP address, we could ping to and from our actual device. It would also give us the ability to telnet to and from the device because we now have an IP address that we can utilize for our telnet sessions. But how far can I reach right now? We saw that we could successfully ping PC1. Can I ping the interface on R1? Let's take a look at what the interface on R1 is. Show IP, interface brief. So we can see that Gigabit Ethernet 1/0 has an IP address of 10.1.1.1, which is part of the 10.1.1.0/26 network. So that would be the IP address that we would want to ping to from ASW1. /0 at 10.1.13.1. It's the other side of R1 that is connected to R3. So let's go ahead and ping that address. Go back to ASW1. Ping 10.1.13.1. All right. No connection at all here. Pings are unsuccessful. So right now, I only have the ability to remotely access ASW1 from within my own subnet. So I could telnet to and from ASW1, or I could ping to and from ASW1, as long as I'm doing it from within my own subnet. ASW1, and it's successful. So this proves that we can reach R1 and R1 can reach us, but I want to change the source now. Let's source it from interface gigabit Ethernet (2/0). Doesn't like that. Source. Let's see what we have here. Source. Oh, I don't need interface, so gigabit Ethernet 2/0. All right. So notice, if we source the ping from the interface that is connecting R1 to R3, we are now coming from a different subnet. And as a result, ASW1 is going to successfully receive the ping packet, but it doesn't know how to respond because, as we saw before, ASW1 has no idea how to get to 10.1.13.1. 13.1. What do we need on ASW1 to successfully accomplish this ping? Yeah. We need to point ASW1 to a default gateway. That's what we need to do. Who is ASW1's default gateway? It's R1. Let's go ahead and set that up. Global configuration mode. And once we're in global configuration mode, let's type in default. Let's see what our options are. Nothing. So what might the command be? Oh, IP. It's IP related, so let's do IP default gateway. IP default gateway. Now we have to specify an IP address. 10.1.1.1. That is the IP address of R1's interface. Let's just double check that. Right there. It should be the same default gateway we have configured on PC1 as well as PC2. Let's try and ping now. 10.1.13.1. Success. So again, just like with interface VLAN 1, this default gateway is for management purposes. It has nothing to do with the frame forwarding process. It has everything to do with us having the ability to ping to and from our switch, telnet to and from our switch, so that way there we can access it from remote locations and we can manage it as we need to. So this default gateway now is giving ASW1 the ability to connect up to different locations outside of its own subnet.